In the last video, we unboxed this Cort CR250, and I'd recorded a whole demo and review for this as well, but it was much too long to put into one video. We know it's beautiful, but is it a good guitar? Let's see. Let's talk about the things that I really like. Obviously, the finish. It is a veneer on a maple top, but it's still got a lot of movement. It's maybe hard to really show through the camera, but depending on how the light hits it, there is a significant amount of wave in the flame. I like these burst kind of finishes much more than the sort of teardrop burst finishes where it's just like right there. I don't like those very much. These are much better. So, finish is great. The neck joint, this is really cool. Most of this guitar has sort of traditional specs, but this neck joint reminds me very much of like an ESP Eclipse or something like that. Very, very smooth. It's not blocky. This is kind of like the new standard in single cut model neck joints, and I'm really, really happy about it. The fact that it's got binding, and that the binding is, for the most part, pretty clean along the body and up and down the neck. It's all really nice. I also want to talk about this neck profile. So I think it's listed as being a C shape on the website. I have to go back and check. Very comfortable to play. Not as comfortable as the ESP, which is, a shredder's neck, but I would say more comfortable than your Epiphone, or at least your pre-2020 Epiphones. Also, like I said, you're getting a full maple top on this, so it gives it a nice chunk, but it's not too heavy. I've picked up Les Pauls which are heavier than that. So all together for $400, it's really sealed the deal for me. No sharp fret ends. The fingerboard is, well, not rounded exactly, but it certainly feels comfortable. So let me tell you some things that I was anticipating, and so I'm not thrilled about, but I'm not disappointed either, because obviously this is a $400 import guitar. The switch right here is a little loose, and that's to be expected. The hardware, the stop tail and the tunematic bridge are also no name hot metal probably, and they're not the best, but once again, wasn't expecting it. The nut. This is a Graphtec new bone nut. I will say that the nut work is a little sloppy. Looks like they didn't try to clean up the surface after they slotted these nuts or after they deepened these nuts. At least it's not a cheapo plastic nut. A Graphtec new bone is much more preferable. The tuners on the back here, these kind of no-name Kluson tuners, not my favorite, but once again, wasn't really anticipating much. The one thing that is a little bothersome about it, though, is the fact that it's like totally vintage, like it doesn't even have the threaded bushing, it's just a regular press-in bushing. So, The electronics in the back are tiny alpha pots, which you would expect. The switch is one of those blocky, rectangular switches. All that sort of stuff is stuff that you would anticipate in a guitar this price. Some things I didn't really like about this guitar. Number one, this headstock shape. I get it that Cort is probably playing it safe and doesn't want to get sued by Gibson or anyone. But there used to be at least a little sort of dovetail-esque thing right at the tip right there, and now it's just kind of this weird Pizza Hut hat looking thing. Another thing I'm not a fan of necessarily is the color of this Jatoba fretboard. When you have a really rich, deep finish like this, and a black headstock at the top, I just don't think that this light brown color really does the trick. The overall hue, let's say, of this guitar neck, it's not really for me. I'll also say I really, really don't like the amber top hat knobs. Like these are easy to replace, but man, like it just doesn't do anything for this guitar. It's just, they're nasty. They're gross. So the last thing I want to talk about are these pickups. So these are the Classic Rocker 2, I believe. That's correct. The Classic Rocker 2 pickups. I would characterize especially the bridge pickup as somewhere between beefy and muddy, right? Because those are not the same. From what I can gather, and I'll show you some clips in just a little bit, it works fine in like a hard rock setting. This is, as the Stretch Rod cover says, classic rock. The bass is really beefy, and if you're trying to play really fast it's just not going to track well. Will these pickups work for you? If you're interested in hard rock stuff, I think they will, actually. I think they're pretty good. If you're into metal, like me, you're going to want to get those changed out. So let's hear some clips. We'll do it in clean, a little bit of dirt, and then we'll try some high gain distortion, and we'll see what you think. So, final verdict. Is this a guitar that's worth getting? For some people, maybe. At $400, there's definitely much worse options out there for you. For me, oh hell yeah. The finish alone is enough for me to buy this guitar. You also take into account the quality control, the comfort of this neck profile. I probably would have paid $600 for this, maybe $700. But at $400, this was a steal for me. In the next video, we're going to take a look at some upgrades that we're going to make on this. We're going to look at this guitar as a possible mod project. So, until the next episode, take care and wash your hands.